Coming up on Vegas Nation Blitz, back from the bye week. Can the Raiders turn things around after starting 1-4?
My expectations aren't here. I think they're more realistic, but that's okay. We'll work through that. Every team goes through this.
We'll discuss right now on Vegas Nation Blitz.
Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, this is Vegas Nation Blitz. Presented by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. Located in the One Summerlin building in downtown Summerlin.
Welcome into Vegas Nation Blitz. Cassie Soto here with you after the Raiders bye week. If you need a recap, the Silver and Black are 1-4 and are currently at the bottom of the AFC West. The team is hopeful that they'll be able to turn things around, but the Raiders haven't had the best of luck coming out of the bye week, dropping 5 of the last 6 games immediately following the week off. We'll see if things can change for the Silver and Black this time around. With that, let's go ahead and get to our top stories brought to you by Capriati's. Make your game day extraordinary with Capriati's. Order now. Raiders beat writer Vinny Bonsignor joining me here now. Vinny, I hope you had a great bye week. The bye week is, of course, a good time for the guys and us as well to rest and recover. But unfortunately for one cornerback, Nate Hobbs, he is going to need a little bit more time to recover as he sustained a broken hand in the team's Monday Night Football loss to the Chiefs. Knowing how big of a role he's played on this Raiders secondary, how big of a hit is this for the Raiders?
Well, on a Raider defense that hasn't played very well at all this year overall, and the numbers bear that out. We'll get to that in a little bit. Losing one of your best defensive players certainly doesn't help. I mean, to me, he ranks right up there with Denzel Perryman, with Max Crosby, and while maybe Chandler Jones hasn't produced like the Raiders had hoped, that's kind of the caliber player that Nate Hobbs is. He just brings a lot to this defense, and not having him is going to be a huge blow for them.
Well, I mentioned it at the beginning of the show, Vinny, that the Raiders haven't had the best track record coming out of the bye. In fact, they've lost 5 of their last 6 games immediately following the bye week. Funny enough, their last win after the bye came in 2016 against the Houston Texans, who, of course, they'll face this Sunday. Do you think that at a 1-4 record, of course, this was an early bye, but do you think that this bye came at a good time for the Raiders to allow them to regroup after a rough start?
Well, we'll see. And, a couple of things to keep in mind. A couple of those teams were just frankly bad football teams. Interestingly, some of those teams had winning records coming off of the bye. So maybe they had a little bit of a false sense of security about themselves and weren't really able to handle the challenge of, taking what you did over the first X amount of games, get the bye week, and then come back with that same sort of energy and that same sort of fight. Maybe they weren't equipped to handle that. When I look at this team, this is a 1-4 team record-wise. There's ought to be no even inkling, thought, whatever, of some false sense of security, no matter who they're playing out of the bye week. They have to play with a desperation. That's just the facts of the matter. They've given themselves or left themselves almost zero margin for error. Yeah, they're not going to be perfect the rest of the way. They're not going to win 12 straight games. Not saying that. But in terms of having, a little bit of a cushion to absorb, a handful of, tough losses, let's say, or bad outings, they don't have that. That's out the window. They have to approach this coming off this bye week, starting right now against the Houston Texans with a sense of urgency and frankly desperation.
At this point in the season, Vinny, heading into week 7, how would you grade head coach Josh McDaniels' performance in leading this team, obviously, to a 1-4 record? How would you grade him?
Well, if you're looking at the record, obviously that doesn't look good. But underneath all of that, I don't sense any lack of confidence in what he's trying to, get his players to buy in on. I think that there's still a major trust factor in the direction that this team is headed, from his side of the ball. And obviously he's the head coach, so the defense falls under his, power as well. But he's in charge of that offense. And I feel like, in spite of some injuries, in spite of an offensive line that, hasn't been the best, and I think everyone understood that it wasn't going to be, they worked around that to create the 6th, highest scoring offense in the NFL. So that's a good thing. From a leadership standpoint, I believe that this team, is they're not losing any faith, and that's kind of half the battle right there. But if the whole thing put together, I don't know what the grade would be for him, but when you add in the offense, what they're doing, but then also the defense, it's probably kind of a C right there, because that defense drags it down that much. If that defense, can score some pretty good test scores over these next 6 weeks, all of a sudden that GPA is going to go up a little bit, and I think the Raiders are going to benefit from it as well.
Around the League, sponsored by South Point Sportsbook. Download the app at southpointsports.com. Hey everybody, it's Heidi Fang, and one of the matchups I want to take a look at right away is the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the 49ers at Levi Stadium. Now, the 49ers are facing a ton of injuries right now, which could make it interesting for the Chiefs to figure out which team they may be facing. In Week 6, the San Francisco 49ers were without 9 key players, especially on defense, and now may be without another. The team could be without their 2021 fifth-round draft pick, Talanoa Hufanga, who is in concussion protocol. So the question is, will the Chiefs face the 49ers defense that gave up only 88 rushing yards to the Super Bowl champion Rams, or will they face the one that just gave up 168 yards on the ground to a struggling Falcons team in Week 6? And of course, we're looking at a Chiefs offense that's coming off of a loss to Buffalo after Patrick Mahomes threw an interception. Juju Smith-Schuster has been a part of this offense that had been looking to get going, and he did against the Buffalo Bills here. He had 113 receiving yards and a touchdown. Another matchup I want to take a look at is one that I thought would definitely have reverse records when I looked at the teams on paper to start the season, and that's the New York Jets against the Denver Broncos. Broncos 2-4, Jets 4-2 right now on the season, and powered by rookie Breece Hall at running back. He had a Lambeau leap of his own into a field of Jets fans. Now they're going to head into Denver. Will they face the Broncos on their home turf? Like I said, rookie Breece Hall has been lighting it up on the ground. He has a total right now of 4 touchdowns, which includes 1 receiving touchdown. He's got close to 400 yards as well on turf. Now, the Broncos offense has been sputtering at best. They had that overtime loss to the Chargers on Monday Night Football, and Russell Wilson and company will face the Jets defense that disrupted the heck out of Aaron Rodgers, sacking him 4 times, forcing a fumble, blocking a field goal, and their special teams even blocked a punt and returned it for a touchdown. This is the Jets team right now that is firing on all cylinders, and we'll see if they can continue trending upwards as they face the Denver Broncos.
Sam Gordon here on behalf of Vegas Nation with the latest Raiders injury brief. Relatively clean bill of health for the Raiders going into Week 7 matchup against the Houston Texans. That is, of course, after cornerback Nate Hobbs placed on injured reserve. They will welcome back cornerback Anthony Averett, who is going to debut probably for the Raiders on Sunday against the Texans. That aside, linebacker Jayon Brown limited in practice Wednesday with a hamstring injury. Wide receiver special teamer Mac Hollins also limited with a heel injury. Tight end Foster Moreau returned to practice, albeit in a limited basis with a knee injury. And Darren Waller still not back yet after injuring his hamstring in the first quarter against the Kansas City Chiefs. He did not participate in Wednesday's practice. Josh McDaniels, of course, did say he was hopeful that the tight ends would be able to play on Sunday. For more information and updates, check out vegasnation.com for all your latest as the Raiders prepare for Week 7 against the Houston Texans.
D&R House of Diamonds is Las Vegas's elite private office jeweler, the perfect bridge between internet pricing and a traditional brick-and-mortar jewelry store. We specialize in loose diamonds, natural and lab-grown, engagement rings, fashion jewelry, custom design, and jewelry repairs. We operate by appointment in our beautiful offices in the One Summerlin building, downtown Summerlin. Our great relationships with the world's largest diamond wholesalers and our low overhead saves you hundreds, if not thousands, on your purchase.
With Capriotti's, game day is always extraordinary. Fuel your passion with our award-winning cheesesteaks, in-house oven-roasted turkey, and classic subs. Or create a fan frenzy with our catering trays that are perfect for any crew. At Capriotti's, we deliver extraordinary to you.
Let's take a look at what the Raiders were up to over the bye week. Wide receiver Davante Adams was honored at Fresno State over the weekend as his number 15 jersey was retired. An awesome moment for Adams and his family. And of course, his good friend Derek Carr was there for the ceremony.
What's going on, race fans? It's Davante Adams out here. We're having a great time, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Getting ready to drive this pace car. We're going to see what happens.
Adams continued his weekend serving as the honorary pace car driver for the South Point 400 Sunday at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And congratulations to Raiders defensive end Max Crosby, who became a father over the bye week. His daughter Ella Rose Crosby was born on Thursday in Las Vegas to Crosby and his fiance.
Welcome back, everyone. Cassie Soto here with you, and I am joined by Las Vegas Review-Journal sports columnist Ed Graney. Ed, the bye week is over. The Raiders are full steam ahead now for these next 12 weeks, no rest. When you look back at this start, 1-4 record, what has surprised you the most with this team that was projected to be atop the AFC West in the preseason?
I mean, one of the things that stands out, right, is their red zone offense. Again, it has been a bad red zone offense for several years now. I thought they might have a better chance with some of the weapons they got this year and some of the, contract extensions they got this year to be a better red zone offense, but they haven't been that. They've counted on Daniel Carlson's 3 points. He's obviously automatic, way too much. We're going to talk about different players. Hunter Renfrow, what's happened with him in the concussion? Darren Waller, where has he been? Josh Jacobs has been great for them, but I think the play calling down near the red zone can improve greatly. And I'm just really surprised they've been this ineffective inside the 20-yard line yet once again in this season.
Well, going off of that, Ed, give me one player on offense and another on defense who has to step up for this team if the Raiders want any shot of making a run here in the next few weeks.
Offensively, it has to be Darren Waller, and I know he has the hamstring now, so we'll see what that does to him. But he has not been the same. They have not integrated him into the offense like you thought they would have. We'll see what the injury does. We'll see, how much he can come back. But Darren Waller's got to get going. This is a guy who got his contract extension who was being compared to Travis Kelce. Darren Waller has not been Darren Waller so far. Again, he's got the hamstring. He had the hamstring throughout camp. It might have been bothering him for all we know up until now, until it's been diagnosed. But Darren Waller has got to play better for the Raiders to start winning games. On defense, it's easy. It's Chandler Jones. This guy was signed to a massive deal to do one thing, two things really. Quarterback pressures and sack the quarterback. He hasn't done that at all. He had a nice first half against Kansas City. That's the best we've seen him. But he has not gotten to the quarterback consistently. He has not had any sacks. He's got to start playing better. And here's the thing. Now that Nate Hobbs is out with an injury in the cornerback situation, you've got Rocky Sim, you've got Amik Robertson, maybe little Sam Webb. They've got to start getting pressure up front. Other than Max Crosby, who's been the best defensive player on the team, others have to get pressure up front because that will alleviate some of the pressure on the back end. And the back end has not been very good, even with Nate Hobbs, who's been a terrific player. But they've got to get pressure up front. That starts with Chandler Jones trying to do his part along with Max Crosby.
That'll do it for this week's episode of Vegas Nation Blitz. For more Raiders fast takes and smart coverage, head on over to vegasnation.com and be sure to join us on Saturday morning for Vegas Nation Game Day as we bring you a preview of the Raiders' Week 7 home matchup versus the Houston Texans. For our entire Vegas Nation crew, I'm Cassie Soto. We'll see you soon.
Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, this is Vegas Nation Blitz. Presented by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. Located in the One Summerlin building in downtown Summerlin.